So you guys are wondering what's going on with my glasses.
Yeah.
Well, you find out towards the end of my piece. My piece is titled, I believe, my story, my life. Well, I was born very, very small person. Very small person. I only weighed 110 pounds when I was born. I was a fucking preemie. That's who I was. I was born 3.5 months before I was supposed to be born. I was kicking to get out. So I got out. That was July 16, 1980. From there, I was in an incubator until when my real birthday was supposed to be in October. And then, from there, I kind of grew up between Anoka, Ivan and Mexico. You're asking why Mexico? Well, because as my story goes, my mother came here to Minnesota to start for a semester, a year, I don't know, as a abroad student at the U, and she met my dad, and you know how life goes. They decided to get married. So that was 71, I believe. But before that, my mom in Mexico, when she was a radical student in 1968, you know what happened in 1968? No? Nobody? 1968, just like a week before the International Olympics were going to be held in Mexico City. No?
Yeah.
What happened? What? Basically what happened was there was several students from the university protesting because of the policies of the government it's a public university, the National University. And so on October 2nd, 1968, they decided to have the big rally in the Plaza de Tres Culturas. And after like an hour or so, some army and police and everyone kind of rounded people up, started shooting from the air, helicopters. My mom was one of those survivors from that massacre. I can't recall exactly how many people died that year, but and actually it continued. In 1970 there was several massacres too of students. So going back to my life, so my brother was born in 82, my sister was born in 85, and I started going to school here in St. Paul. First Anoka 1 year, and then here in St. Paul. the funny thing is, my mom was a school teacher, Spanish school teacher in Eden Prairie. Both my brother and my sister went to school with her, but I didn't. So that was pretty cool, wasn't it? Or no? And so from there, when I was about 10, in 3rd grade, I started 3rd grade here, but then my parents found this great opportunity and they took it. And guess where we went? We went to Latin America, Guatemala, for 6 years. And there, the conditions were really bad because our U.S. government was giving a lot of aid to the military and the government and killing all these indigenous people. So I lived there for 1990 to 1995. At first it was cool. I got to meet a lot of important people. Actually, a famous person who won the Nobel Peace Prize, Rigoberta Menchú. I got to know her pretty well because the husband of my parents' supervisor was the guy that would travel with her all over the world when she was campaigning to get the Nobel Peace Prize in '92. From there, I went, the only really serious girlfriend I've had in my life, I think. It was there in Guatemala. And then in '94, things exploded in Mexico, just on the other side of the border. Guess what happened? January 1st, 1994. You know, NAFTA came in effect. And Mexico was part of that deal, but for indigenous people, which the state of Chiapas and Oaxaca and Guerrero was not going to be, it was going to destroy their lives because Article 33 meant that Article 33 in the Mexican Constitution says that any community can have communal land in Mexico. But for NAFTA, President Salinas had to erase that. So that meant indigenous people in Mexico were going to have to lose their land. But in Chiapas, ya basta! The Zapatistas, ECLN came to the stage of globalization movement. That's when the globalization movement really started. Not in Seattle, but it started in Chiapas. And out of Seattle, the Zapatista movement there too was really important. So I lived in Chiapas about, 5 years or so, and then I finished high school, finished junior high, started high school, but they didn't really have much options for high school. And my brother, some old family friends of my parents, when I was little, decided to have their daughter come to Mexico while my brother goes there. So they did an exchange. And so I got to hang out with my German sister, had a great time with her that year. But fortunately, things in my family were not going too good. Because my younger sister was, and me, and my brother, we were drinking a lot, but my sister was the worst. She was using a lot of drugs. And so, my dad suggested I come back up here. So I came back up here, and, I forgot to mention something. In Guatemala is where I think I first experienced my sexuality, that I'm bi in Guatemala. So, coming back up here, I finished my last year of high school, graduated, went to college, Century College, where I know Eric, who just performed, and first was doing an associate in arts degree, and then went to, am I over? Well,
yeah. Thank you very much. Gabriel Johnson Ortiz. Yay!